I won't. I won't do what I'm doing right now. Well, that's also because I can't anymore because I'm out of blocks. Gosh darn it!
All right, podcast. Welcome, guys.
I don't know what
Brandon,
that means.
Brandon here. My going to be my most common guest because I will force myself to play Minecraft for him as long as he does a weekly podcast. We're gonna do this weekly, okay? We're gonna make this consistent. When are we recording this? On a Monday? We'll record either Monday or Sundays. Didn't you say it's like Sunday was your best day?
Yeah.
All right, we'll record it Sundays usually, but the reason why we're doing it on Monday is because the Oscars were last night. Woohoo! I watched the whole thing. Brandon didn't watch it at all.
Got robbed.
We'll talk about that. But I wanted to talk about the Oscars. We also have a few more things. I did not do a review for How to Train Your Dragon. So we'll be talking that. We might do spoilers, might not do spoilers. I don't know yet. We'll probably hold off on spoilers.
I am so mad you didn't do a review for that movie.
I know, it
Because
took
you
me-
saw it 3 weeks early.
I still don't know how I feel about it. Like, I'm so conflicted. I've seen it twice now, so I now know how I felt. But, like, for that 3-week period, I was so distracted, and I didn't know, like, when we were watching the movie, I missed a lot, to be completely honest with you. That first time we watched it, I missed so many small details that I desperately needed. I was like, I don't get the villain's motivation or any of this stuff, but that's besides the point. We'll get into How to Train Your Dragon a little bit later on. I want to start with the Oscars. Also, we're going to talk some other movie-ish news that came out throughout the week, but mostly Oscars and How to Train Your Dragon. So, you did not watch anything of the broadcast, right?
No, I mean, I saw YouTube clips and highlights.
Did you watch Olivia Colman's speech?
No, I did not watch any speeches. I don't like the speeches.
Watch Olivia Colman's speech. I'll send it to you. It's incredible. It was probably the best moment of the night besides the Shallow performance, which that you did see, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also saw Queen's performance.
Yeah, also, okay, so first off, I guess we can talk about the hostless Oscars. I enjoyed it. I actually liked it not having a host. They just kind of got straight to the awards. It was cool. There was no, like, random, cutting away from the awards to have the host do his little bits. They started with the Queen concert, which, if you have Queen, why not, right?
So they opened it up with the...
Yeah, that's the first thing that happened.
Oh, nice.
Because usually
okay.
they have the opening monologue from the host.
Right.
No,
I like that. Started
Straight
off
to
with
Queen.
a bang, just go.
Yeah.
With the song or with the performance, and
Yeah,
then
and it's like the
get right
performance
into it.
ended, and then the first presenters walked out, and they did a little babble, and then they presented the first award within like the first
I like it.
6 minutes. It was great. Yeah, so hostless Oscars, the only bad part about the hostless Oscar is that the end of it was so awkward because there's no one to wrap it up. it was so weird. Like they
That's
announced,
when you just got to throw out Queen again and just be like, there you go, and then we're done.
yeah, it's like they announced Best Picture, which Green Book won Best Picture, which I'm actually somewhat happy about. Which I know everybody's complaining about it online, but what are you gonna do online besides complain about stuff? But yeah, so they just kind of announced the final winner, and then the person who announced the Best Picture, which was Julia Roberts, I think. She wrapped up the entire ceremony by saying, "Oh, thanks for watching. Bye." And it just ended.
That's so awkward.
I know. It was like you need a host to end it, but I don't know. It was a little
you
bit
don't
strange.
really need a host in the beginning. You just need a host at the end.
Yeah, because like the monologues have never been great. There's a couple of them that are good, but for the most part, you can do without it and be completely fine.
Right.
So yeah, I did not mind it not having a host. I actually kind of liked it like that. But for the most part, the only thing that's important about the Oscars is the awards, obviously. So I have a list here, which I did my Oscar ballot. You obviously don't care about Oscar ballots. You don't really care about movies. So I'm going to be trying to convince you and the audience to see some of these movies. That's my goal, okay?
Yeah, I'm more of the big movie goer person. Like Avengers, Marvel,
The
Star
blockbusters.
Wars. Yeah, the blockbuster stuff.
What's
So.
like the last small movie you've seen?
Last small movie, I don't know. I mean, I can think of a lot, like Nerve, but like that's not like a.
That was a
Oscar
pretty
movie.
independent movie. Not an Oscar,
Um,
but
Let's see, what are some small movies? I mean, man, I can't think of.
you watched A Quiet Place, but that's a blockbuster, pretty much. I'm just
Yeah.
like looking at the list here.
What's that movie that we both like? They're like pretty much superheroes. It's like the origin story of the villain.
The Chronicle?
Yeah, Chronicle.
That was
Love
years ago. That was like 2013.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. There's a bunch of them. I just can't think of them right now.
Yeah, I kind of put you on the spot. Well, you saw A Dog's Way Home, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That movie made
That
too much money.
did it
Not
really make a
Oscar
lot of
winning.
money?
Well, if you put a
Um,
dog in a movie, people go see
not
it.
that's well. That one was not as good as A Dog's
You
Purpose.
know they're making a sequel to that, right?
Yes,
And they spoiled the entire movie in the trailer.
I actually do like A Dog's Purpose a lot. I like the story of it.
I haven't seen it.
Um, the main character, what's his name?
Dennis Quaid?
Uh, yeah, his character in that movie, the connection with him and the dog is really good. And they're obviously gonna get back to that in the second one. So I'm actually excited for that.
I know how it's going to
I
end,
did
though, because they
enjoy
show
it.
it in the flipping
I
trailer.
mean, but it's a dog movie, so like
That's true.
it's kind of easy to figure out where it's gonna go.
It's a
But
good
at the
trailer.
same
I think
time,
it's like a great 2-minute short film. Like same thing with the Secret Life of Pets trailers. Those are great trailers, honestly. There's a
yes,
lot of funny
yeah,
jokes. But sitting
yeah.
through that for 90 minutes is a solid pass. Like no thanks. I refuse. But I'll happily sit there for 2 minutes and watch a funny little trailer with dogs.
Hmm.
But the movie, no thanks. So
Yeah, I mean, A Dog's Way Home just wasn't as good. It's that simple. Like, it just a Dog's Purpose is a really good movie. It really is. For like a dog movie and whatnot. Like, I really enjoyed it.
and
But
for me, trying to
anyways,
watch as many movies as possible this year, I'll watch it before the sequel, and I'll probably be dragged to see it and to get you guys a review. I'm gonna try to see more bad movies this year because my top 10 worst list was, I put Ralph Breaks the Internet in my top 10 worst. So
that's a disgrace.
All right. Speaking of that, we could start off with animation just because segues. So best animation went to
Yes.
Spider-Verse, which is cool.
Yeah, and honestly,
Well
and we were
deserved.
talking about this before. I was like, it's a lock, that they would win it, and you weren't so sure. You were nervous about
See,
it. Why were you nervous about it?
here's the thing. It's the Oscars, and a lot of people,
Hmm.
and this is me because I work in a movie theater. So when people walk out of the movies, there's one woman walked out of the theater asking if it was 3D. Because, they have that weird, like, blurry-ish thing where
Right.
there's, it looks
Right.
like 3D without glasses. That's what that movie looks like. And a lot of people came out complaining about it.
Huh.
And, yeah, like, to, like, a surprising degree. And, you think of, like, the cliched Oscar voters being a bunch of old white dudes, that watch that movie and complain about the animation. This is the best animated film. I do think the animation in Incredibles 2 is better than Spider-Verse. Even though I really like the style of Spider-Verse, the animation is just simply better in Incredibles.
Right.
But the
But
story...
it's honestly with the thing with Spider-Man also though is it's new.
Yeah.
It's a new type of animation, so maybe that's also that I think really helped it too.
That, and then the story is fantastic, even though
Right.
I have my reservations with that. The final act of that movie, even though I like how it ends, everything, but how fast he learns how to use his powers is a little bit too quick for me.
It's a classic Spider-Man
Yeah,
issue.
not even Spider-Man issue, just superhero issue in general, where the hero always masters all their powers by the end of the movie, and there's no room to grow after that. I'm sure there will be room to grow, but he seemed too perfect at the end of that movie. But very well deserved. Also, when we were watching the Oscars, when Ralph Breaks the Internet showed up because it was also nominated, I just I hate that movie.
I can't believe you hate that movie.
I hate it.
enjoyed that movie. It's
You know-
not as good as the first one, obviously, but it's enjoyable.
It's funny, everybody I work with also hates that. Well, not hate. I think I hate it the most of everybody, but they all kind of agree with me that it was just kind of, I don't know, there was no plot. It felt like an excuse to go to the internet and copy the Emoji Movie. I don't know. Not a fan of that movie, but on my Oscar ballot, I did get that correct. I went with Spider-Man, even though I had a feeling Incredibles would win, but I went Spider-Verse because everybody was just talking about it. It seemed like a lock. That one I did not go with my gut with, and that worked. It worked out for me. So I do want to touch on short films because I am going to be making a short film. I don't want to ignore them like the Oscars were going to do. But yeah, a bunch of short films won. Bao. Did you watch Bao? The
That was in front of
Incredibles, right?
The Incredibles, yes.
Yeah, that
I
one
did
won
see
for
that.
best animated short film.
Yep.
Very well deserved. Haven't seen any of the other ones, sadly. Next year I'm going to try to watch all the short films. The live action one, That one, never heard of it. And then the documentary one, also didn't hear about that one or haven't seen it. But, you know, they did win. I'll read off that. It's like Margaret, or something like that. I can't pronounce it. And then Period, End of Sentence, which that short film, the winners who directed that one had a really good speech. So for those of you interested, or if you watched it, I actually really enjoyed their speech. So next up, let's just go some of the smaller categories. Sound editing and sound design. So those two, I thought A Quiet Place for sure was good, because that's the only thing it was nominated for was sound editing, and Bohemian Rhapsody won both sound categories, which was disappointing to me. Yeah, Quiet Place didn't win anything.
Usually when they're up for like two of the same thing, they don't usually win.
Yeah, because they won both of them, which last year same thing happened.
Usually just win one and that's it.
I'm not sure about the history of the Oscars, because I know last year Dunkirk won both of them, when I thought it was going to go to Baby Driver and one to Dunkirk. But Dunkirk won both of them. So I guess that's how the Oscars does it. I don't know. I've only been watching for the past couple of years, but I'm sad A Quiet Place did not win. And that's when Bohemian Rhapsody started winning like everything, because it also won film editing. Did you see that one meme of the, like, everybody saying it's the worst edited scene ever, and it's from Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
There's a scene in that movie that has some of the worst editing I've ever seen, and it won for best editing. Like, the funniest thing, I saw a tweet. I wish I could credit the tweet, but if I find it, I'll put it somewhere, maybe. But it was, they won best editing for editing Bryan Singer off of the production. So that's why they won best editing. I'm sticking with that. But that one, honestly, I had no idea. Foreign language film, Roma won. I know you refuse to watch Roma. Good movie.
Yeah, I will never watch Roma.
There's just no way I'm going to convince you to watch that movie, but I absolutely loved it. Yeah. I thought it was going to win Best Picture. Type of movie. Yeah, that's fair. Best Original Score. Black Panther won that. Did you see that?
Yeah, I was surprised that Black Panther won anything, actually, to be honest.
So let's go Black Panther really fast. So it won for Best Musical Score, won for Best Production Design, and one more. What is it? Oh, Best Costume Design. So it had both costume design and production design, which I thought production design would go to the favorite, because their sets were completely just amazing. It was fantastic. But Black Panther won for both of those and for score, which very well deserved. It won 3 awards.
Yeah, very well deserved. I think that was also like it was never going to win Best Picture, but
I think it had a chance.
Really?
I think it had more of a chance than people thought, especially because since Green Book won, that was one of the more, favorited movies, one of the more crowd pleasers.
Right.
So I think, especially how impactful Black Panther was to culture in general, I thought it had a really strong chance. More than what people thought.
I'm glad it came out with at least one win, to have especially, two is great.
The score. I love the score of Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. But Black Klansman was better. I love that score. That's one I guess. I got that one wrong. Also, with the production design and costume design, they made the world of Wakanda. That's why they won. Mm-hmm. So, very well deserved there. I love Black Panther. Obviously, that was your favorite movie of the year if you watched our favorites list. And then it was my second favorites, just under Mission Impossible, which was not nominated for anything. Come on, Academy.
Deservedly so.
What? Okay. If they had a best stunts, they should have a best stunts, right?
They actually should, because Tom Cruise would have about 10 of those.
Yeah. Especially when he goes to the moon in real life to shoot a Mission Impossible movie, because that's where they're going.
We'll get to the moon soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very soon. Either in... you know what? I'll mention this here, which don't, say, look, I'm not saying that this is for sure guaranteed, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do a video essay, because I saw the Hobbs and Shaw trailer, right? And they're putting actual superheroes in that movie, and I think it's hilarious. So I'm going to do a video essay of how Fast and Furious got from being a ripoff of Point Break to having actual superheroes in them. It's going to be a video essay chronicling the entire franchise of of Fast and Furious leading up to Hobbs and Shaw, and I'll try to get that video out before that movie.
What studio makes the Fast and Furious movies?
Universal.
Universal? Let's see, what other superhero movies does Universal have? Can they do a crossover here?
No. Universal has, they have Fast and Furious. Do they have the Transformers? No,
No,
Paramount
that's
is Transformers.
Paramount.
Yeah, I think that's the
I was
only
gonna
thing
say,
Universal has.
we're gonna if Universal has any other like superhero or just anything like that in general, they're going to do a crossover at some point.
I think they just want to become like officially become superhero movies because they pretty much were before, with Vin
Yeah.
Diesel surviving a nuclear blast in the last movie.
Well.
They're pretty much superheroes, so they're embracing it now.
Well, it might be better than half the DC movies so far, so
Ooh,
they're on the right track.
Ooh, you haven't seen Aquaman, you can't say anything. Love that movie.
I
Also, snub
I
for
just
best
don't wanna say
visual
that.
effects. Aquaman was not even nominated, which is insane.
Yeah,
'cause
I thought
had-
that was surprising because I was looking for it on the list that you had tweeted out, and I was like, I guess he forgot Aquaman. I mean, it didn't matter to me because they didn't win, obviously, but
What list
I
did
thought they would
tweet?
have for sure been nominated.
Yeah, that one I was salty with not being nominated. But the winner of visual effects went to First Man in the category of Avengers Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo. So it beat Ready Player One and Avengers, which I did guess Avengers for that category.
Not only was Avengers better as far as visual effects, Solo was better, and Ready Player One.
Okay.
They were the fourth best, and I
Here's-
still haven't seen the movie. It's
See?
a movie. It's a movie about the moon. It's
Yes.
based off of a true story, Brad.
Yeah.
The moon is real. Look, hold on. It's right out my window. I can look at the moon. It's right there. I actually do not see it.
Yeah, I think you're on the wrong side of the
It's up
house.
there somewhere. It's real.
But you see,
I hope no one was looking into my room at that moment because they probably thought I was completely crazy.
the Academy voters. Here's the thing, though: the Academy voters, they like the moon. Thanos threw a moon. They did not like that.
Thanos threw a moon.
Thank you for peeking the mic. I'm sorry, everybody, that you're having a rant about a visual effects category of all the categories.
First Man is based off is a true story based on a true story about the first person ever going to the moon.
Yeah, it's a
Which
good movie.
actually happened. But yet in Avengers, Thanos, who's a CGI character,
Giant purple dude, who looked really
right,
good.
who looked
He
real,
looked fantastic.
through a moon at a fake planet.
Here's the thing. Here's why I would defend this choice, okay? Which I wonder if you would actually agree with this argument. Visual effects, the best visual effects are not noticeable. You
I
know
don't
you're
care.
watching a bunch of CGI.
I don't care. I don't
You have
care
not seen
because
First Man.
the Avengers one, honestly, did you really like while you were watching Avengers be like, oh yeah, that's definitely CGI.
Yeah.
What part?
Brennan, have you seen a giant purple dude walking down the street?
Well, but like,
Oh, you know
what
what?
I mean?
I
It
know, I
looks
know.
Real, it looks real enough to where you don't think about it in that moment. It doesn't take you out of the movie. Whereas we've seen in the past where there's CGI moments and you're like, okay, and you're watching the movie and you literally like sit back in your chair and you're like, oh yeah, that's fake.
Here's what
Right?
I'll say. Aquaman
I
should have won
never had
special
that
effects.
moment in the Avengers.
Yeah. No, that's
or
fair.
Ready
That's fair.
Player One
Like,
or Solo,
here's the thing with
and they all created fake planets.
oh my gosh, Brennan.
And the one with the real planet won.
Okay, on my ballot, I picked Avengers to win. I wanted it to win. But it makes sense because in First Man, you don't see the special effects at
Brad,
all. It's
think
so
about how
seamless.
crazy this sounds. There's 3 movies, all with fake planets that don't exist ever. And the one movie that does have a real planet that you can go outside and see, except in Colorado right now.
Wait, three movies? There's only 2.
Ready Player One. They
There's no
created planets.
planets.
Yeah, the one that they're fighting on. At the end.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a fake world. The moon is real and it's empty.
Okay,
There's
but I
nothing
think
on the moon.
I think
just
it's
the moon.
fair. I think it's a fair decision. Let's move on from special effects. Oh my gosh.
There's real pictures of the moon.
Yeah, and they did a great job recreating.
People
but-
have actually gone on the moon and taken pictures and videos. There's a rover on on freaking Mars.
That it died. Rest in peace. Anyways.
And yet the movies with fake planets and a giant purple dude who looks real loses to the movie based on a true story with a real planet.
I think your argument falls apart when you say giant purple dude and you were obsessed with Barney as a child. It's okay, moving on. Best original song is probably the most obvious one of the night. You know, did you watch all the musical performances or just Shallow?
No, I saw the two.
Okay. So the thing was, they performed almost all the Oscar nominees. They did not perform the one from Black Panther because Kendrick Lamar didn't want to do it. So he was not at the...
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it really was a bummer because they presented all the other ones. And all the other ones got probably about a minute of time. But they gave Shallow the entire song. That was like a 3-minute long performance.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
It's almost as if they knew it was going to win. It was so not fair to the other songs. But, I mean, hey, that was the best part of the night.
Did anyone not think that they were going to win?
No.
To be honest. So
I think they just let them peek at the envelope. They're like, okay, we know this one wins, so let's just give that one time.
What is funny, and I get it, but at the same time, Lady Gaga's reaction when she won was kind of comical because you're like, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Everyone knew you were going to win. So,
well-deserved win, though. I love... Did you watch that movie?
Though. Yeah. That song, honestly, because I watched it this morning, and it was literally stuck in my head on the drive home. And it was an hour-and-a-half drive home, and it was stuck in my head the whole time. I couldn't get it out of my head. It's a really good song.
You saw the movie, though, right?
Yes.
I was going to say, that's probably one that I tried to convince you to watch. It's a really good movie. Didn't deserve Best Picture, I don't think. Deserved the nomination. And obviously... I think the song.
I think this year is the most movies I've ever watched that was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, so what, you saw A Star is Born,
Black Panther, and that's it. I usually never ever see, like, when the Oscars
I'm convinced to see two more of them.
And I look at the ballot, I'm like, I've never seen that, never seen that, never seen that, never seen that, never, like, they're just not my type of movie. So this year I saw two, and I was actually very surprised.
No, it's very, very, and I'm proud of you for that. Even though one of them was just a Marvel movie, that was a given. But right. Did you wait? Oh, you didn't even see Spike Lee's speech when he won Best Screenplay, did you?
No, I saw his reaction.
Yeah, when he jumped on Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, that was great.
Another two highlights was Sam Jackson
and the Knicks won that night, and they the Knicks had lost 18 straight, and they actually won that night.
Did you hear, like, when Sam Jackson and Brie Larson, so both from Captain Marvel, came out to present that award? The first thing that Samuel L. Jackson said was that the Knicks won. It was hilarious.
And what's funny on the sports end, because I'm on sports media side of things. A lot of sports media members were like, "That was kind of messed up."
It's hilarious, though.
I thought it was funny, but yeah, a lot of Knicks media and New York media were like, "Really?" Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
but I thought it was funny.
That's one movie that I need you to watch. BlacKkKlansman. Obviously, you heard me talk about it when we did the top 10 list. Very well deserved win for Best Screenplay. That movie is hilarious. And Spike Lee did a great job directing it. I think he had a chance of winning Best Director, but obviously Alfonso Cuarón with Roma was absolutely incredible. But yeah, watch BlacKkKlansman. I'm telling you, it's one of the best movies in a while. Like, I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, no, that was definitely on my list when I was going through all the movies, because I do want to see that. And anything funny, like, I'm a big, like, I want to see the blockbuster movies, and I also want to see, the comedies. So I definitely do want to see that.
Like, what they do in the Oscars is throughout the night, they do little features for each movie nominated for Best Picture. And so when the BlacKkKlansman one came out, they're like, okay, well, it's a movie about the first African-American police officer in Colorado Springs, which we live in Colorado, so that's cool. And he decides to go undercover in the KKK, using a white guy as his cover, and he would speak to him on the phone. And they're like, that in and of itself is hilarious. Now you gotta watch this movie. That's pretty much what they said in that one person's speech. And it was like, yeah, this movie is hilarious. It's so funny. It's so smart. And it's just such a good movie. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely want to see that.
very well deserved for adapted screenplay. I think that's the only one it won though, because he didn't win directing. Um, I don't think Black Klansman won anything else, which is depressing because I love that movie. I thought it was going to win Best Score, but it didn't. It lost it to Black Panther. But yeah, so check out Black Klansman. If you guys also haven't seen it, obviously I'm trying to get Brandon to watch it. It's so good. But I want to talk about Roma briefly before you freak out. Alfonso Cuarón won directing and cinematography. The thing about Alfonso Cuarón is he did, he did the third Harry Potter movie, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. And he did Gravity. I'm not sure if you saw that one. But that one, when that movie was nominated, it won like 8 awards. Like, ridiculous. This guy is pretty much a shoo-in to win whenever he makes a movie. And what he did with this one is he wrote, directed, and did the cinematography for movies. And directors usually don't do cinematography, and he won both directing and cinematography, which is why I think he lost Best Picture, even though I wanted to win Best Picture. But yeah, very well made movie. I'm not going to try to convince you to watch it, but if you guys like that type of movie, it's all Spanish
I will watch
subtitles.
Fargo before I watch that.
That's hilarious. It is, yeah. It is. It won Best Foreign Film too, so it did win Best Picture. If it did win Best Picture, though, it would have been the first movie ever to win Best Foreign Film and Best Picture, which would have been cool. Right. That would have been a cool achievement. But moving on to some of the acting performances, you never watched Bohemian Rhapsody, did you? Did you ever have like a interest in seeing that?
See, no. I saw A Star Is Born, and I was done with the music movies.
Like even like, now,
I could.
It won the most awards last night.
Yeah, I will eventually watch it, but they came out both around the same time, and I was just like, I don't want to watch another movie about music. So
yeah, the thing about it is it relies heavily on Queen's music, which is obviously great. And the funniest thing is when Rami Malek won for Best Performance, which I agreed with. I thought he was fantastic in that movie. Mm-hmm. But the clip that they played for him was him lip syncing to Freddie Mercury. So that wasn't even him performing. Like, what are they doing for these clips? Supporting role, Mahershala Ali pretty much wins every single time he gets nominated for Green Book. Actress in a leading role was, everybody thought it was going to be Glenn Close. I put Glenn Close on my ballot, but I wanted, because like The Favorite is another movie that was nominated for Best Picture. I watched that recently. I absolutely loved it, but it is weird and you will hate it. I don't think you would like that movie at all. So I'm not even going to like try to convince you. I kind of want you to watch it to see your reaction from it, but that's definitely an interesting movie.
Do you think I'd be bored?
I don't think you'd be bored. It's a very entertaining movie, but I don't think you'll like period pieces because it takes place in the 18th century in England. It's about the Queen of England and these two women basically trying to fight for her number 1 spot, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm not sure if you would like it. It's very funny. It's very weird, but it's so well written, which it did win for. Did it win for Best Original Screenplay? No, it lost for Best Original Screenplay, which made me mad because Green Book won it. Which another thing is Best Picture usually matches with Best Screenplay and Best Picture. That's usually what lines up. So it's between Black Klansman and Green Book because those both won the writing awards. But yeah, the reason why I mentioned her is because like Glenn Close was the heavy favorite to win, and what's her name? Olivia Colman ended up winning for The Favorite, which I was very happy, and her speech is incredible. Like, watch her speech. Because it's, like, one of the most genuinely excited and happy, like, speeches. It's, like, pure surprise, pure joy of winning an award where most people were just like, oh, thank you. We won. Bye. Like, a lot of the early awards, they were cutting the mic on people because they didn't know what they were doing up there on the stage. But her speech was fantastic. You need to check that out.
Yeah, I need to watch the speech.
Yeah, that speech, like none of the other speeches were necessarily great. Spike Lee was pretty good, but Olivia Colman stood out. So, the supporting actress, also Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. Haven't seen it, want to see it. I'll watch it eventually. I think I get to watch it next month because it comes out on Redbox. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the Oscars. Now let's get into Best Picture. This was one of the most random Best Picture things ever because all the other awards throughout the entire award season went to a different movie. Every single one. Like, it was insane. Usually, there's a heavy favorite. Like, La La Land was winning everything up to the Oscars, right? And then it ended up losing Best Picture. Well, throughout all of the different awards shows, no movie won 2 awards. It was insane. Because, like, Black Panther won, like, the best ensemble at the Actors Guild. Green Book won at the, like, Screenwriters Guild. The favorite won at something else. Bohemian Rhapsody won at the Golden Globes. Like, it was ridiculous. Every film won something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was a toss-up for Best Picture. Green Book ended up winning, which makes sense because it's a crowd pleaser, and I think you'll like this movie, actually. Because it's another comedy.
Yeah, no, it's a movie that I've been, again, there's a lot of, like, usually the Oscar movies, I look at them and I think, well, I would never watch this movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this year, not only did I see 2 of them already, but there's, I think, another 2 or 3 that I want to go see. So I think this year was a really good year for movies.
Not for Oscar
At least
movies,
for me.
but in general for blockbusters, it was one of the best years for bigger
and then
movies.
obviously this year will break all of that.
Yeah, I do think 3 movies in the Best Picture didn't even deserve to be nominated. Like Vice. Well, I haven't seen Vice, but I heard mixed things about Vice.
See, I really want to see Vice.
You really do want to see Vice?
Yeah, I really want to see Vice.
Huh. It's the only one I did not see at the Best Picture because it did not come out on Redbox on time. It comes out, I think, next week. So I missed it by a week, but I will watch Vice because I'm really excited to see it. Which he also lost for Best Actor for Christian Bale. And I kind of thought he was going to win, but I went with Rami Malek anyways, so that helped my Oscar ballot. But yeah, Best Picture went to Green Book. I do think you'll like it. The director directed, which is really bizarre because he went from being a director on Dumb and Dumber to winning an Oscar.
I saw
Best
that
Picture.
movie last night. I watched that instead of the Oscars.
Yeah, he directed Dumb and Dumber. Is that like just weird?
That's funny.
Yeah, he's
That's
a comedy director. He's done a bunch of stuff with oh gosh, Jim Carrey. He's done a bunch of comedies. Just if you go down his filmography, you would have never guessed that he'd make a movie that won for Best Picture, like ever. It's insane. And a lot of people are complaining about it because it does deal with racism in a lighter tone. It's not as deadly serious as something like Black Klansman at times. You know, it's really serious, but it's still a funny movie based on the situation itself. But it deals with racism in a lot more, like, serious and professional way, like how it should. So that's why some people are complaining about it. But Green Book is just such a fun movie. And it's so, like, when you walk out of that movie just happy with, like, the world. And, like, you know, some people can be good. You know? It's a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I remember, like, walking out of that movie being really just happy. I really enjoy that movie. I'm glad it won Best Picture, even though I think I would have rather had Black Panther and Black Klansman win, obviously, because they're in my top 10. But, yeah, Green Book. It's a good movie. Do you have nothing to add to that?
Nope.
All right, moving on. That was Oscars talk. I just want to double check if I missed anything because I don't want to not talk about one of the categories because that would be bad. Makeup and hairstyling, one for Vice because they turned Christian Bale into an old bald dude. So yeah, moving on. How to Train Your Dragon. Saw that how long ago? 3 weeks ago?
A long time ago. Like when I started seeing the commercials for it, you know, and it was like coming out this Friday or whatever. I was like,
we saw that ages ago.
I feel like I saw that a year ago.
Have you seen it again?
No.
Or just that one time?
No. I probably won't see it again in theaters. I do want to see it again, but we're gonna hit just a crazy run here soon that I'm just like I want to save the amount of times I go to a theater at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Like just the run that we're going to have in the next couple months is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, well, when I watched Fighting With My Family, which my review is up if you guys want to check it out.
See that so bad.
I honestly think out of every movie I've seen this year, which I've seen 9 already in the 8 weeks that this year has been, added that 8th week. Gosh darn it. But I think Fighting With My Family is my favorite movie that came out this year. Over Lego Movie 2.
It's probably the best movie of the year so far.
Yeah. It's really good.
The way people are talking about it, so...
Yeah, it's a surprisingly great movie, even though it's a bit cliched, and obviously you know how it turns out, but that's how all biopics are. So that's like a non-issue. And it's just a really entertaining... It's hilarious, by the way. Nick Frost and Vince Vaughn are just fantastic. It's really funny. The main actress is fantastic. But we're not talking about that. The reason why I mentioned that is I saw both How to Train Your Dragon again and Fighting With My Family in that same night, and I saw How to Train Your Dragon in 3D. It was good in 3D. It was really good in 3D. Like some movies, I have no interest in seeing in 3D. Like Lego Movie, I don't think they even had 3D for Lego Movie. Oh no, they did have 3D, but no interest in seeing that. But How to Train Your Dragon was really cool in 3D. The movie itself is probably the worst of the trilogy. Would you agree with that? I don't want to say worst. It's the least best of the trilogy.
Right. Like that's the thing. It's like nine. It's nine. It's what? It's 1A, 1B, 1C.
Yeah.
Like, like.
Yeah.
It's
I completely
they're
agree.
all really, really close, and it goes. I would say the second's the best, then the first, then the third one.
See, what I was talking about with you earlier, which I think is hilarious, is the first movie. My issue with How to Train Your Dragon 3 is the ending is fantastic, right? How they wrap everything up with the characters is perfect. It's like the Return of the Jedi type ending. It's fantastic, right? But the climactic ending with the villain and the action is just so anticlimactic compared to the first two movies. It's just so, like, the action sequences are very well directed and very well made, but I'm not invested as much because I already know how it's going to end up, type thing.
Right. I mean, like, when I think about the ending of that movie, I don't think about the villain of the movie. I think about the character, the characters that. So, like, yeah, and that it's like they had the villain in there just to have him in there.
And he's pretty good villain at first, because he seems really smart for a villain. And then they just don't do anything with him. And, like, what I was joking about was the first movie has, like, a giant dragon at the end of it, right? That's awesome. I love the ending of the first one. It's epic. The second movie, they had 2 dragons. They stepped it up. This movie, they just have some dude with a long face and some crazy hair.
They couldn't just have 3 dragons.
I wanted 3 dragons, though.
I mean, it's like Star Wars, where you blew up our first Death Star, we'll come back with a bigger one. Oh, you blew up that one? Well, 30 years later, you have a bigger one. So I mean,
good point, but
like
still.
Star Wars got a lot of crap for that. I think if How to Train a Dragon did 3 big giant dragons, I think they would have gotten crap for that. If they didn't, I think I'd have a problem with that. Like crap on.
But it would have been more exciting.
Death Star.
I still think that would have been more exciting. But not to knock on this movie. This movie is a great movie. It's a solid 8 out of 10.
But here's the thing: he is the reason. That character is the reason why
Hiccup and Toothless.
The movie, right is exactly why they had to separate. Like that's the.
Are we spoiling?
And I don't know. I spoiled it.
Gosh,
whatever.
It. Spoilers. I'll put a spoiler warning on the screen. My bad. Spoilers. There's no third dragon. There's no big dragon at all. Spoilers.
No, not at all. It's funny though. There are more Light Furies though.
What do you mean?
There was more Light Furies in the crowd of dragons.
There were?
Yeah. Do you not notice that?
No.
Yeah, there were more Light Furies.
Huh. Oh, in the hidden world?
Yeah.
Okay, because
there was no more like Toothless, but there was more light ones.
Yeah. The thing is, when we watched that movie for the first time, I was trying to do a homework assignment after that, and I had to do a camera. I had to do like 20 shots of a statue. I was so distracted when we saw that movie, and I think I was stressed out, and I didn't realize it. So like the villain, I didn't really understand his motivations. I thought he was there to kill the dragons, right? And at the end of the movie, he caged all the dragons and gave it to the one guys. And I was like, okay, I thought you were trying to kill dragons. And I was so confused throughout the entire finale, but apparently he made a deal in order to kill Toothless, to capture the dragons for these guys, that can help him give him the army that he needs to do it.
Right.
And so I didn't catch any of that at all. So I was so confused with the villain's motivations, and that's why I'm so glad I did not do a review. But being able to just go into it now, knowing after seeing it for a second time, I can actually, process my thoughts better. And I was pushing off this review for so long because I didn't know how to review it, because apparently I didn't watch the whole movie. I was distracted. But the ending, like I said, throughout the entire movie, the relationship between Hiccup and Toothless, fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's like in all 3 movies. That's why you go to those movies. It's a boy and his dog, but it's even more than that, because Toothless in this film, even more so, is his own character with his own goals, and especially bringing in the Light Fury, and that romance with dragons was awesome.
Yeah. It was great. That might be the best trilogy
Since
that
Planet of the
we've
Apes
that we've seen.
and
I
Toy
guess yeah,
Story.
Planet. You know, yeah, Planet. I see.
Did you like
Planet
War for the
Apes.
Planet of the Apes?
It was fine. It was fine. Honestly, I liked the trilogy of How to Train Your Dragon better than Planet of the Apes.
You know what? I wouldn't argue against it. The reason why I'd say Planet of the Apes is better is because it's a lot deeper. And these movies, the How to Train Your Dragons aren't trying to be deep. It has really good messages, and all the movies are super short. So if you're gonna sit in one night and watch all three movies, it wouldn't even take 6 hours. It'd take 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's like they're all super short and compact and sweet and just
But that's why
really
they're so
fun movies.
good.
Yeah,
There's no
exactly.
fluff in them.
Hmm.
There's no like.
They get straight to the point.
They, yeah, and like how most movies that are 2 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes, you're like, yeah, it was about 15 minutes too long.
Hmm.
Well, How to Train Your Dragon is perfect.
Yeah, I could honestly use 10 more minutes in this movie to flesh out the villain. But like the other two, you don't need to flesh anything else out. They're like super simple. The second one is actually a lot more like plot heavy than the other two, and it does really good job in that in the short time that movie has. And that's why I think the second one's probably my favorite of the three. But don't get me wrong, this is a solid trilogy. I love all of these movies.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I loved the third one until I saw it again. But yeah, I think I do love it. I don't think it's the best of the year so far. I don't think it's better than Lego Movie, but I have my own little attachment to Lego Movie. I'm pretty sure most people would prefer this movie. Also, box office. Did you see box office?
It did really well. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It's the best movie opening so far this year, which I thought Lego Movie would actually do better, but Lego Movie did not do so well. But it did the best of the trilogy. I think the first one made 44 million, second one made 49 million, this one made 55. So they're all progressively going up, and I'm like really happy for these movies, honestly.
Yeah. Do you think they will do another one eventually down the road?
You know, since we were doing spoilers, so what you mentioned earlier, by the end of the movie, Hiccup has to say goodbye to Toothless, and the dragons go to the hidden world, and on their own, they're like, one day we will be able to live together, right? Which is why I think the message is a little bit weird, because like I was trying to compare it to like, like just whether it's the LGBTQ, we can live together type thing, or like with races. And I was like, okay, by the end of the movie they want to be separated because the world's not ready. I want to see a world where the world is ready, and you can have the dragon. So I think you can continue on and spread a different message by that movie, and have it be like the dragon human utopia that actually works throughout the entire world, and you can do different stories with that. And I think that would be cool.
So you wouldn't do like in the future with Hiccup's kids and
Maybe you can have Hiccup's kids, and like Burke was the one that led the charge to bring dragons into the world, and Hiccup was the first one to do that, and they remember him as the first, and then you can have generations later, maybe not in like modern times because that'd feel weird. I think they kind of forced it, well, not really forced, but I didn't think the How to Train Your Dragon world was our world, but apparently it is our world.
Really?
Yeah, because I think it is. Because it's the Vikings in that time period, and they made jokes about the Earth being flat, but then when they got to the waterfall, I was expecting it to be like an actual flat world, but the ocean went on past that. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually Earth. It takes place in the Viking times, and it's supposed to be our world. And so that's why dragons are not in our world right now. That's how I took it, at least.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to see that world expand and it be worldwide dragon human utopia. You can make more movies down the line, or you can even do a story where someone finds the hidden world on accident. You can do a whole new adventure. I'm sure Toothless will still be around. I don't know the lifespan of dragons, but you can always have Toothless back. So
Right. Yeah, and you can have an older Toothless, where maybe it's not what the Vikings like during, like, you know what I mean, like what, like century or whatever, like just have it. What's next after Vikings? Cowboys?
Not cowboys. Probably. Well, it depends on what part of the world, because you can do more like medieval times. Because I know the Viking era, I'm not sure if that was around the medieval times, but can you imagine a more medieval version of How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I'm thinking.
So then you have an older Toothless with the medieval times. You have the huge castle, all that stuff, and you have Hiccup's
Like
kid?
more, yeah, castles and knights and
Do you
Vikings.
bring in
Do all
Hiccup's
that.
kids, or do you do different people with Toothless?
I think you do different people, and then maybe you can do cameos of Vikings later down the line,
And they
or you
talk about
completely
the
separate
legend of
yourself.
Hiccup.
Yeah, I would love that
Okay.
if they did that. But like with
I mean,
Planet of the
you know
Apes,
what you can do is have maybe Hiccup's daughter, and then she basically you have Hiccup's daughter. It's almost like Hiccup is like this legend, right?
hmm
But you have his daughter, who's and she basically she meets someone in the media, like she's basically she like I guess you like
she leaves
she leaves and
just like explore the world or something. I don't
maybe
know.
she like okay, here's the thing. Okay, so you have the Vikings and then you have maybe like you have this group that is more medieval, right? And she meets, some boys, like classic, girl meets boy, whatever. And she leaves Hiccup. And so their relationship is awful. It's bad and Hiccup's old and she's off living with the medieval times and um maybe the guy that she meets or whoever finds the hidden world, and so that's how you kind of connect the dots, is like she recognizes Toothless,
Yeah.
and so she has that connection with Toothless, and it kind of brings that like thought of like I should go find my, you know what I mean, like
hmm
by the end of it, and maybe by the end of it Hiccup dies because just
See,
being older, but at
I don't
least
like
his
that.
daughter. No, I'm just trying
No.
to spitball. Like, if you wanted
Here's
to
the problem
connect
with
it,
this. Before you go any further
you
down
can
this
do
rabbit
that.
hole, with a quick Google search, Vikings around the year 1066. Medieval times is the 15th century, so that's 400
Okay.
years.
Well, maybe
Um,
not medieval times, but I mean,
yeah. I would
the
like
next
medieval times
thing.
though, because could you imagine you fast forward 400 years and then you won't like maybe you'll have like Burke in it. It'd be completely separate, have a different line of kings and queens that came around to Burke or chiefs,
Hmm.
and maybe you incorporate Burke somewhere. But I think you just stick with medieval. You do completely new. The only returning character could be Toothless, or just other Night Furies in general, and that's how you continue the story. Same
Yeah,
thing with like
I
Planet
mean,
of the
I
Apes.
would like to see at least one thing from the original
Yeah.
trilogy back. So it would be Toothless, just older Toothless, and honestly, it'd probably be Toothless would end up dying,
Could you
and
imagine someone
his
from medieval
son or
times finding the dragons, right? And
Mhm.
then because they don't know and they don't understand, Toothless brings them to Burke to learn the legends of the
Okay,
dragons.
perfect. There you go. And then that's where you can have the connections
hmm
and all of that. Yeah, I
You
like
can
that.
merge these worlds of the
But you
Vikings.
but there's gonna be family of Hiccup there,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're gonna
Not as
no
immediate
matter
as what you're
no matter
saying.
what though, Hiccup and then his kids will pass down the knowings of
hmm
Toothless, so
Yeah,
they
and
will
like maybe
all
they
know
even still
Toothless.
visit
So
Toothless, like they
right,
did that in
so
the
those
movie.
people when Toothless goes there, you will know like they'll know who Toothless is.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have that connection to Hiccup no matter what,
hmm I mean, I think you kind of need
or
that.
at
Like,
least
I
his
love Jay
family.
Baruchel as Hiccup, and I love his voice acting work. But
Hmm.
if you just get a whole new cast, you only keep two of this. I think that's the way to go. Like
Right.
the Planet of the Apes thing, Caesar dies at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert! But you can continue with the apes in that world that they create later in that universe. I don't think they will go to it, but with how successful this movie is and how each movie is getting more and more successful,
Hmm.
I think there's a solid chance that we do get a How to Train Your Dragon 4.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: they're making a Toy Story 4. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna make a How to Train Your Dragon 4. Like
We'll have to wait a while though, because every movie is
yes.
5 years apart.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
animation
And,
is
and
gorgeous.
honestly, it might be 10 years. Like they might not
hmm
even start like thinking about it, for another couple of years, and they're like, you know what? Let's do a 10-year later thing. Let it breathe a little bit. That way, when
Let this
because like
trilogy stand
here's
on
the
its
thing:
own.
in like 4 years when they announce it, or like 3.5 years, people are gonna be like, no, they should have ended after three, right?
hmm
But in 9 years,
Eighth.
like people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. Like that, this is perfect timing. So I think they should have a bigger gap for sure because it's gonna bring back that nostalgia. At least it's gonna be a little bit more than it would have been just after announcing it 3.5 years later.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree with everything you just said. I don't know. I really want more of these movies, but if it is in 9 years, that's fine with me. That is completely fine with me. But yeah, so that was How to Train Your Dragon spoiler talk. I will put spoiler all over this, so no one actually gets spoiled, because I feel bad. I know a few friends of mine at work watched my channel, and if they are watching the podcast, if you finally saw How to Train Your Dragon, you know who I'm talking about. You know I'm talking to you. Yeah, this is a good movie. So what else was on my list? Obi-Wan. They're making it into a TV show.
Possibly.
Let's briefly talk about this.
First off, they didn't announce it. It's one of those things like...
That's in development type thing.
Yeah, in development that will honestly most likely never happen.
No, I think it's most likely will happen.
Maybe I think the fans want it, but at the same time, Star Wars right now isn't known for giving the fans what they want.
But you also gotta remember I think Variety broke the story about the Obi-Wan show, and Variety also broke that Benny Elfman and Weiss were doing the Star Wars trilogy, or the Star Wars movies, way long ago, and it was finally like officially announced like in the past couple of months. So Variety is a very good source for stuff.
I just don't think we're gonna get an announcement this year.
Yeah, probably after Mandalorian. Do you think Mandalorian, once that show debuts, like after its first couple of weeks, do you think that's when they announce it?
No, I think it'll be next year at Celebration.
Next year at Celebration? Okay.
Yep.
Because
you have or maybe a little bit before, because this winter, right, you got Mandalorian, and then right after that you got Cassian. Or is it during the same time? Are they both coming out?
I think Cassian is... I actually have no idea what the Disney Plus schedule is, because they haven't even announced when the streaming service comes out. It's just sometime in 2019.
Well, okay. Well, they're going to be right after each other. I think there's going to be 2 more. I think we'll get next year. I think every year...
There will be 1 series?
Well, I think Cassian will be 1 season. I think Mandalorian will be more than 1 season.
And then Obi-Wan will be another like single 8 episode.
Yes. So I think they'll have Mandalorian kind of go through maybe like 3 seasons, and then every time Mandalorian has 1 season, they'll have a separate a 1 season kind of special. So yeah, Cassian, then you'll have Obi-Wan, then you'll have...
I want to see Darth Maul and Kira.
I wouldn't mind that one. The one I want to see is Darth Bane.
Darth Bane? Yeah. Even though I know nothing about Darth Bane, I know he is a big character, and I know everybody loves him.
Well, he's the one that started the Sith.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that...
What if Darth Bane is the one series, the Game of Thrones?
No, I don't think so. I think that's going to be a little bit later.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll show Darth Bane in that. I would love for them to do that.
They can always massage the canon, because that's technically not canon. That's still Legends. Right. So they can pick and choose what they want and put it wherever they want it to be.
I think we will get... I want a dark TV show. One, because Mandalorian won't be dark, Cassian won't be dark, Obi-Wan won't be dark.
Cassian
I want them to do... It could be. But I want them to do a Sith TV show, whether it's Darth Bane, maybe, or maybe you can do Plagueis.
Yeah.
Because maybe the movie trilogy is about Darth Bane, so then maybe the TV show can be Plagueis. And you can have
the Sidious.
Yes, you can have a young Palpatine in that. So you can do that. I think that would be really good. So I think that's what we're gonna see is Mandalorian, say, gets 3 seasons. During the first season we get Cassian, second season we get Obi-Wan, third season we get a Sith TV show, just to pair it along with it.
I honestly think we'll get the Darth Maul one before. I think it'd be Obi-Wan, and then the next year would be Darth Maul.
I'd be okay with the Darth Maul one too. I mean, and who knows? They could go crazy if the Mandalorian show and the Cassian show both do really well. They could do 3 a year.
I mean, what's that?
You could have you could just have Star Wars all year long. The first part of the year is whatever. Summer is another one, winter is another one. I mean, you can do that. So
another thing that makes sense to me in terms of these shows is Ewan McGregor has been doing TV. He is fantastic in Fargo season 3. If you guys haven't watched it, I know I'm trying to convince you to watch it, but I will get you to watch Fargo one day. But Ewan McGregor is fantastic in the 3rd season, even if you just watch season 3, because he's in it. But he's been doing TV. Obviously, Emilia Clarke, who plays Kira in Solo, she's Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is ending. Move on to Star Wars TV show. Why not? Right. You have the Game of Thrones guys also dipping their toes into Star Wars. So I think that would also be a really good transition for both of those. And then Cassian with Diego Luna, obviously I think he's done some TV, but I don't know. I think these TV actors make sense for these different shows. That's why I think the Obi-Wan series is for sure probably going to happen with Ewan McGregor returning, and I would love that. And my dream one would be the Maul, because there's no way they're making another solo movie.
Here's the thing with these TV shows. I'm not really that excited for Mandalorian. I'm just not.
I'm going Taika Waititi.
I just don't like the bounty hunter
But Bryce
stuff.
Dallas Howard is directing.
Yeah, and like the director line is great.
Yeah.
But like, just I don't care about the bounty hunters. Now, I think the show will be good? Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, obviously. But I'm just not excited for it because I'm not excited about the bounty hunters. I'm just not.
That's fair.
The Cassian one, I'm not really that excited about either.
But you watched Rogue One, and you like Rogue One now, right?
I love Rogue One, but
it definitely can use some more character stuff because they have that book for Jyn, which I love that book. But Cassian, if you have more backstory for that could make same thing with Captain Marvel.
And to see like K2SO and all of that would be cool. But like, again, it's just not something I really want to see. I want to see Obi-Wan, and I want to see the darker, a darker Sith TV show.
Yeah,
that's really all I want to see. The bounty hunter stuff that doesn't interest me. The Darth Maul stuff does. I would put that as number 3. The one I want to see the most is Obi-Wan. You know what? No, the one I want to see most. If Darth Vader is in the Obi-Wan TV show, then yes, that would be number 1. But I want to see a Sith TV show. I think that'd be amazing. To see the politics with that would be great. And then the third, I would say Darth Maul, and then the fourth is Mandalorian, and the fifth is Cassian. Those two don't excite me as much, but I think it's a good way to kind of dip your toes in TV and
just to get
see
started.
Where it goes. Yeah,
that's when you have to start with at least one completely original project, and then you bring in Cassian, which Rogue One is a very loved Star Wars movie, especially of the recent era. I think that's probably the most, maybe not the most liked. I think Force Awakens is still the most liked, but that's definitely the second most liked. Also, what a prequel does for me, what I require for prequels, because obviously this Cassian series would be a prequel, I'd imagine. So what a prequel needs to do, which is why I love Rogue One so much, is it needs to improve what it is a prequel for. Because Rogue One improves A New Hope, and I love A New Hope. But it made it better because of that, with Jin's dad planting the flaw in the Death Star. It's such a great and simple solution to that one flaw. With this Cassian series, it can really improve Rogue One with the characters. I know characters are what people have most problems with in that movie. And then with Captain Marvel having the one villain in it, I'm spacing on his name right now, but it can improve Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think that's the goal of prequels, is to improve on what it is a prequel for, which, segue, Captain Marvel reactions came out on Twitter. Reviews probably very soon. Reviews will probably be out this week, I'd imagine,
honestly,
or at least by the end of the week.
Captain Marvel, the trailers made me less excited to see the movie. After seeing the reactions, I'm once again all in. I'm excited, and just think about this, Brad, and it's insane. We are 2 months away from the Avengers.
I know. We are so close.
Nuts.
You know, like, I might not watch any more marketing. I think I'm done.
That is ridiculous to think that we're just 2 months away, because when Infinity War ended, I was like, son of a gun, we gotta wait a year. Thank God it wasn't 2 years.
This year went by pretty fast.
God. Like, this year went by fast. And, you know, like, I was able to wait for Star Wars for 2 years. There was no way in hell I was ever going to wait 2 years to see Endgame.
Designed to be like that.
No way. There was no way. Like, I just so happy it's out this year, because if it would have come out next year, I would have been so depressed.
Do you think it's a little bit too soon after Captain Marvel? Because I know Black Panther had an extra month on it.
Yes.
This was a month closer.
I think it will hurt Captain Marvel. It could also help Captain Marvel, because the people who won't see Captain Marvel in theater but will see Avengers first will be like, okay, now I need to go see Captain Marvel.
Here's the thing with Black Panther.
It could help Captain Marvel,
because working in a movie theater, our theater gets rid of movies pretty fast. We've had one movie recently where we had it for 2 weeks and it was gone. We had Black Panther from February, from its release. Our last week with Black Panther was the week before Avengers. And the first week of Avengers, it had 1 week crossover. So there's 1 week period where Avengers was in theaters and Black Panther. This way with Captain Marvel and Avengers both being in theaters at the same time, which for sure they're going to be in theaters for at least 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks together. That's a great double feature. And for people walking straight out of Infinity War or out of Endgame,
they're going to go right in to see Captain Marvel.
They're going to see Captain Marvel and they're going to watch Endgame again. That is why I think it could help, but it could also hurt if some reactions. As I know, this one thing that I want to mention. I just punched my desk. The hate for Captain Marvel from certain like quote unquote fans, because I forgot what movie it was for, but on IMDb, obviously you can put your own ratings to it and Rotten Tomatoes. People are downvoting Captain Marvel already, and it's irritating the crap out of me. I hate the fact that people are doing that.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the movie. Apparently, it's at least good. So from these reactions, which makes me really excited. Obviously, it makes you really excited for someone who didn't like the trailers. I've been excited for this movie ever since I saw the first trailer because I thought I saw what I wanted from an origin story from Captain Marvel, because I don't love origin stories, but when it has the back and forth and the flashbacks, like a Batman Begins, which is what I think this movie's going to have, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Especially like it taking place in the 90s and having the Guardians mixture with it, and apparently it's mostly in space. I think some people had issues with the Earth stuff, but apparently most of this movie's in space. So, cool. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. But yeah, Captain Marvel coming out next week? Or 2 weeks?
No, 2
weeks.
weeks.
Like a week and a half, I think.
Yeah.
March 8th. But yeah, Captain Marvel coming out. Also, one more thing that we want to touch on. To end off the podcast, really briefly, let's rant for a minute about this Lion King new footage.
Yeah.
It's the same thing!
It's the same thing. It wasn't
new
really
footage.
new footage.
Come on, Disney.
Yeah. Like,
what are you doing?
It was funny because I watched it and I'm like, okay, I watched the wrong trailer. I thought I watched the first one. But look, I don't need to see anything from The Lion King.
You've already seen the movie.
Not only have we seen the movie, I don't want to see what they do new.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see, honestly, you know what I don't want to see? Which is, I feel like we're going to at some point, but I really don't want to. I don't want to see them talking. I want to be able to walk in the theater, watch it, and the first time I see them actually talk is when I'm seeing the movie.
There's no way
that's
that's
what I
happening,
want.
though.
No, we all know we're gonna see them talk, unfortunately, in the trailer. I would rather not, though.
Would you avoid the trailers for this?
No, probably not. I would try, but I like trailers.
Yeah.
I really like watching trailers.
Yeah.
So probably not. But honestly, if I didn't like watching trailers as much as I do, I probably would wait, honestly. I probably would wait.
Yeah.
Just because I want that like shock value to see them talk in the theater.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've already seen the technology done with Jungle Book, obviously same director and everything. Did you ever watch that Mowgli movie on Netflix? Oh wait,
No.
You don't have Netflix anymore.
No.
Yeah, because there's the other Jungle Book movie. Because in
I'm
Jungle
saving
Book,
my money for Disney.
Yeah, they did.
Because they have all my money anyways.
Yeah, they did photorealistic animals, right, in Jungle Book. In Mowgli, what they did was they morphed the animals' faces to look more human, and it was motion capture like Planet of the Apes style.
Right,
and it was weird. It was kind of good, but also very unsettling at the same time. The movie's pretty decent. It's really dark, which is surprising for like a Jungle Book movie. But yeah, it's like we've seen the technology done in those two different ways. Obviously, they're going to do the photorealistic, so we've kind of seen it. But also, you don't need to. I also don't want to see Scar. I don't want to see Scar in the trailers.
I don't want to see Scar. I mean, you can kind of see Mufasa, but like I don't even want to see Mufasa.
Oh no, don't show. I show Scar before Mufasa actually.
Like, I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to see Pumbaa. I don't want to see Timon.
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to see
anyone.
I want to see everyone for the first time.
Oh, wait.
In theater. Like, we've seen the movie. We don't need to see these trailers. It's like Star Wars. Like, you don't need, or even Avengers. You
already have our money. Release the online tickets now. You'll break the box office record for opening weekend.
Right. I mean... Yeah, you don't need to show, and I think one day, Brad, one of these movies will do it. They will not put out a trailer.
They'll do like a paradox, Cloverfield paradox type thing.
No, I think what you'll see maybe is like a quick like the title pops up and like that's it.
Irishman had a trailer.
Maybe
in the
like
Oscars.
a little bit of voice, but like that's it.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying right now, this movie called The Irishman, which is coming out on Netflix, which is Martin Scorsese's next movie. They had a little teaser in the Oscars, which all it was like a bullet falling, and they had the cast names all with an I in it, and the bullet made the I. And then at the end of it said The Irishman, Martin Scorsese coming later this year. That's all it was.
There you go.
Everybody's gonna see it. Yeah. Can't wait for that.
That's all
movie.
you need. Like that's like for the Avengers, they didn't even need to make a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have had the music, and then boom, the title pops.
The Super Bowl TV spot.
That's it.
Perfect. That's all you need to show. Just a 30-second spot showing the heroes their state at the very beginning of the movie. That's it.
Right. For Star Wars Episode 8, they could have done it. For Star Wars Episode 9, they can't.
They need to win some fans back. They need to show stuff.
Yeah, they need to win some fans back, unfortunately. But like Toy Story, like look at what they're doing. None of their stuff is in the actual movie.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the animations. Why most animated movie trailers are bad, because they don't really finish the movie until the movie's about to come out. So all the footage we've seen from Toy Story is not going to be in the movie at all.
Stuff.
Yeah. And I seriously doubt any of it's going to be in the movie. Apparently there was a clip released online, which I have not watched yet, but I'm going to see the movie. I know everybody's hating on the trailers, but I've actually enjoyed them. Knowing that they're not actually going to be in the movie. That's just, stuff made for marketing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're all going to see these movies. They don't need to do trailers. They're just frustrating when they said, new Lion King trailer. Everybody click here. New Lion King trailer. Yeah, play during the Oscars. Like, it's the same flipping thing.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Thanks for watching the podcast. Did you have one more thing to say?
No, I don't want to see any more of these trailers. I don't want to see another trailer for Avengers. I'm good on Lion King. I'm good on Toy Story. I'm good on Captain Marvel, obviously. Like, I don't need trailers anymore. We're good. I need a Star Wars trailer, and that's it.
If you have not heard the Captain Marvel reactions yet, would you want another trailer?
No.
No? I'm sure you'd still see it anyways, but yeah. Anyways, guys, that'll wrap up this podcast. Talked about Oscars, How to Train Your Dragon, Obi-Wan, Captain Marvel, Lion King, a bunch of other stuff. It went on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but you know what? It was fun anyways. Thanks, guys, for watching this podcast. I'll see you guys in the next one. We're trying to do a weekly as well. New reviews coming out soon. I don't think there's a movie coming out next week that I want to watch, so I might do something Netflix related.
I need to see Fighting with My Family.
You need to see Fighting with My Family. That'd be fun to talk with on the next podcast, if you watch it in time, because I absolutely love that movie. But yeah, thanks, guys, for watching this podcast, or listening, I guess, because no video. Maybe we'll have video next time, because I might get a cool camera by then. But yeah, peace.